Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. And today, for your Friday, it is another mid-rank madness. That just means this replay is either platinum or diamond level, and it was sent to me at falconpaladin@gmail.com with the subject of mid-rank madness, or submitted to me on the Submit a Replay channel of my Discord server. Bottom left-hand corner here on Repugnancy is the Red Terran player Cameron. And in the top right-hand corner, it is the blue Zerg player, ZeroDashZero. Currently from the Falpal clan. Alright, so let's see how this ZVT is going to go. It's going to be a good one. Going to be good back and forth stuff. I really appreciate people who send me excellent replays. Excited to do those. I like to see what the players are doing in the middle ranks. What's going on in the middle ranks of the ladder? Because everybody watches the pro stuff. Everybody likes watching GM stuff too. Even the lobby stuff gets a lot of attention depending on who it is and how entertaining it is. But nobody really likes to sit around and watch platinum and diamond level replays just because so many people are there. Everybody's familiar with it. It looks close enough to the higher levels of StarCraft that it's not fun or interesting generally, but I like it anyway just because I like to see how players are handling the current meta. They're trying to do stuff that the pros do, and sometimes they just mess it up a little bit, but they're on their way. There are players I have cast that were mid-rank madness when I started my channel who are now GM, who are like top 10, top 15 GM on their particular ladder, and it makes me happy to see people improve and play this game a lot and get better and better over time, and it is wonderful. Alright, so Reaper coming out here for Cameron. Reaper's name is Bane. Bane had been one of the last miners on this former Terran planet. The last evacuation ships Menx so sparsely provided him had left him to die, fleeing the incoming Corruptor swarm. When the Imperium recaptured the planet several years later, they were baffled when they encountered a still-living Bane. Barely a human spark left in his eyes. This man had been on meth for years, on an all-carnivore Zergling diet. First, the Terran officials were concerned this guy might have had built-up resentment towards the Imperium and wanted to get rid of him, but all it took to regain his loyalty was to provide him with a lifetime stack of metamephetins, which I guess is meth, and tell him in which direction the enemy dwelled. His chronic adrenaline rush and his existential resentment against life made him the perfect daredevil to sacrifice for a little scouting information. His name was Bane, the Reaper. Alright, man, so he's got that scouting information for sure. He knows there's a natural base. Don't you die here. Bane? Oh boy. I don't know what happened there. Usually Reapers don't die to slowlings off creep in mid-rank madness games, but perhaps Cameron's attention was elsewhere. His APM is spiking around 200. He's playing fast. He's paying attention. He must have just not expected to lose his Reaper on the ramp? I'm Ron Burgundy? I don't know, man. Very questionable so far, but Cameron, you can make it up. You can make it up here. I have played many games on the ladder where I kill the Reaper, and I'm like, wow, it's going to be an easy game. This Terran player clearly doesn't know what they're doing, and then they're incredible. So just because somebody loses their Reaper early in a way that they shouldn't have does not mean their macro's not scary and they don't know the correct compositions to wipe the floor with Zerg. So we'll see what Cameron is up to here. So far, it's a couple Marines, very early Marines. Interestingly enough, he didn't start immediately with Hellion production. He's throwing a bunker up at the front here. I guess you might be worried about Ling counterattacks. Honestly, with the Reaper out, Ling counterattacks can be pretty good here, but I mean, ZeroDashZero seems entirely interested in just droning up, going for a Baneling nest, getting queens, throwing up a third base to counter the natural base that Cameron has completed over here on this side of the map. But the Hellion production is coming right along. No problems for Cameron here. He's got the double gas. He is working on additional Marines and getting a quick third base. That is a 3-minute third for our Terran player. This is what I'm talking about. He knows that the Zerg player is probably going to sit back and macro up and expect harassment. So he'll harass him a bit, but at the same time, out-expand the Zerg. If he can be on 3 bases and Zero's on 3 bases, he's going to be in a wonderful spot. We'll see how he handles Banelings, though. Banelings are a bit of a bane of the Terran army. If they don't, I don't know, they target correctly. They don't have Widow Mines. It can be especially hard to deal with them, and especially if you engage on creep and the Banelings have speed. We'll see how this works out. So again, double queen here at the front. Not saturating the third base until he can defend it. Queens shoving away the Hellions. This is all traditional stuff we see in ZVT at the pro levels all the time. This could easily be something that we see from somebody like a Laser versus Maru or something along those lines. Obviously, the timings are off. They're a little bit slower. The APM. Look at this APM, though. Spiking for these guys. Zerglings do catch a single Hellion out off creep there with speed, allowing that creep tumor to go down. but killing a Hellion and kind of forcing him back home. This is a lot of Lings out for Zero. He is sacrificing some workers to do this. As it is 38 to 34 workers right now, Cameron has a lead, which is where he wants to be. He wants to have a lead. He wants to be landing a third base, while Zero is still on 3 bases, has a bunch of Lings. If he can avoid taking a ton of damage from these Zerglings, which are going to be Banelings, I have to imagine at some point they will be Banelings, then he'll be in a wonderful position for the rest of this game. I know this as a Zerg player who has tried this before, made a ton of Zerglings to try to get some damage done, try to kill the Terran player early here. It doesn't work out, and suddenly you are way behind. The good news is Banshees are on their way from Cameron. So Banshee's pretty good at dealing with Baneling attacks if they target down the Banelings, especially. This bunker is in trouble, though, and this third base is just so greedy. I don't know if there's enough army from Cameron to shut this thing down. Oh, there's a tank up, though. Now there's a tank at the 6-minute mark. They're going to go ahead and shut down this third base where there's a mule and an SCB. They're going to force a liftoff anyway, at the very least, which is not a huge deal for Cameron. Banshee needs to stay here and defend. There are so many Zerglings on the map right now. Where are you going? Do you think you can hold this with a tank and a few Hellions and some Marines? Maybe you can, but where did the Banelings go? Did they all go home? Wow, Zero's like, I forced a liftoff on the third base. Job well done. All of these Zerglings are nothing, though. Oh, boy. 49 to 37 workers right now. Lings trying to get stuff done. Again, tank pretty good against those guys. Zero. Droning up? Nah, man. He's making more Banelings. What is he defending against? I think you're over-making stuff, dude. In my professional opinion here, you're over-making Lings and Banelings for a defensive position, even assuming your opponent has a ton of Hellions. So here comes the Cloak Banshee. Oh, he doesn't have detection. He didn't throw down the spores. All right, so at about 4.5 minutes, you want to start throwing down spores against both Protoss and Terran, especially if you're not scouting, especially if you don't know that Oracles are coming and don't know that Cloaked Banshees are coming. Spores are on the way now, but they are late. Zero, we have some things to work on here today. Definitely, this Banshee is putting in work. I'm having PTSD from times that Cloaked Banshees have ravaged my base. Another Cloaked Banshee cruising on into the third. There is a spore coming up there, which is nice. The main still doesn't have that spore. The lair is done, so Overseers need to be made immediately. Boy, howdy. This is Banshee doing really, really well for herself. Has 4 kills. Did the other one die? The other one might have died. The Queen's fighting pretty well here. But still, man, 8 kills is a lot of kills to get. 36 to 52 workers. Third base is landed. Cameron doesn't really have the ability to defend it. He's trying to set that up now with some Marines. Tank on the high ground. Honestly, a couple tanks on the low ground would not be amiss either. Continuing to produce tanks, getting combat shield and whatnot. But here comes Zero, down 53 to 39 workers. He needs to do some damage now, or he is in an immense amount of trouble. Widowmine firing on a single Ling. That was a stroke of luck for sure here. Tank on the high ground trying to save these Marines alive. The target firing on the Banelings is actually pretty great. Wow, nice job, Cameron. This is what I'm talking about. APM of 300 when it matters. Doesn't lose anything to those Banelings. They get target fired. That was beautiful stuff. The Hellions cruising on into the third base, roast up some more drones. They're forced to fight for their lives. That is not what they want to do here at all. Can he get another? Yeah, another several going down. How many drones have been killed? 25. 25 drones have been killed so far. Cameron is doing an amazing job harassing, an amazing job keeping up on base count too. These Hellions fighting a Queen for reasons I don't fully understand. Just go home. No. Go home. You have 5 and 6 kills. You're heroes. Apparently you're not heroes enough. Zero, a little bit stuck on Ling, Baneling, Queen, which, again, I can emphasize with. He does have a Roach Warren. He has a Hydralisk Den. He is working on upgrades for pretty much everybody, including getting speed and the health upgrade for Banelings and centrifugal hooks. But right now, it's just Zerglings, dude. It's just 20 Zerglings, 10 Banelings, and 6 Queens on 3 bases. He's trying to get a 4th base up now at about the 9-minute mark. Considering the opponent has been on 3 bases for a while, that's not going to be enough. Zero. This is a pretty scary drop here inside the main base, too, as all of the Lings are kind of far away from this location. Unloading in range of a Spore is not good. Oh, he lost of almost full medevac there. Queen down. Banelings exploding on the tank. Not very cost efficient, but it does get the job done, killing the tank and chasing the rest of the Terran army away. So not a super well executed drop, but the response wasn't that great either, so I think we probably came out even on that one. But man, resources lost. 4,300 for ZeroDashZero and 2,200 for Cameron. 4th base, and potentially a lot of trouble here too. No attack upgrades on these Marines. They do have Stim. The Zerglings don't have any upgrades either other than speed. So nobody doing super great on upgrades right now, nor are those upgrades on the way. Oh, the Queens did pick off the medevac. Oh, that's a lot of dead units and medevacs here. Cameron's got to be kicking himself for allowing that to happen. But third base is well established. Natural base, fairly well established here too. A 3-basing Terran at 10 minutes is a pretty darn scary thing, especially if they have 73 workers. He's been on fire. 73 army to 51, and it's going to be Ling Bling Hydra against a Marine Marauder tank army. I don't know how I feel about this, especially engaging off creep here for ZeroDashZero. But let's see what he does. Let's see if he can pull this off by coming on in, maybe threatening the front door a little bit. There are, well, 2 tanks here temporarily, but there will just be 1, I feel like, when the Hydras decide to come calling. More Hydras coming across. I just don't know that pure Hydra is what you want. Again, pulling back. Maybe it's smart. Maybe he recognizes he got the Overlord and he sees the tanks, he sees the Marines. He says, yeah, this is not a really Hydra-friendly fight. I got to bring some banelings for those Marines. If there are only a couple tanks, I can handle it. But as soon as the tank count gets around 3, 4, 5, I'm going to start worrying about this. Especially if they have upgrades, which they do not, by the way. No vehicle upgrades at all done. Working on building armor. Building armor and the upgrade that allows you to fit more units into bunkers. Neo-Steel Frame. They combined those upgrades after years of asking for it from Terran fans that were looking for niche upgrades. And just changes, weird changes to the game. Blizzard finally acquiesced and allowed it. I like that both of these evolution chambers are working on upgrades for Carapace as well as Ling and Baneling upgrades. More Banelings coming in. That's a Fusion Core in production, and we have a Ghost Academy. Cameron, 11-minute Fusion Core in Ghost Academy. He's at 181 supply, 85 workers, and a 96 army supply. Cameron is playing this exceptionally well. His macro has been good. His army has been good. His micro has left something to be desired. It was better on defense than it was on offense, and consistently so, even including this drop. You need to get out of there. There are about 15 Hydras waiting to pick you out of the sky. Cameron going for a 4th. Yeah, he's playing this like a Zerg. He's got his 4th base done at 12 minutes. Done and down. Is he transferring SCVs? Is he oversaturated in places? Yeah, he is. He is for sure. He's got 30 SCVs at this base after transferring a ton off. He's going to instantly saturate this 4th, and he is. He needs to get that gas income. Maybe expand over here too. Where are these SCVs going? Oh, all the way around. Oh, because he walled off this ramp. And the SCVs had to take a very dangerous path around. But they will make it there safely, as Zero's not really doing much. Infestors, I love the Infestor play. Pathogen Glands has already started. Okay, Spellcasters are incredibly important here against the Terran. You want Fungals on the Marines. Neuroparasite on tanks, maybe, but I really don't see that upgrade being used at this level. So Ling Bling Hydra, where it's 111 to 81 army supply. Cameron has a massive lead here. 32 Lings are in production. They are going to have +2 attack as well as +1 ground carapace, which is nice. The Marines are +1. That's the one thing that Cameron has not done well is upgrades. He's working on +2 now, but it is late for that, man. +2 attack on the way at 13 minutes is way too late for you, Cameron, but we'll see how you do. Out here in the open on this creep, you need another scan. Kill these tumors. Scan it. Not scanning it. Alright, that's fine. Zergling's going for a bit of a wraparound run-by to try to get stuff done. That's a planetary fortress. That is another tank set up here. I don't know if these Lings are going to do anything, but we'll see. Tank fire. Lings coming over this way. Those are sacrificial Lings, but they get out of there before they all get mown down by the Gauss rifles of these guys. Another base, perhaps, Zero? I like that you're on 4 bases, 5 bases at this stage, especially when the Terran is on 4. Seem like that's where you want to be. Spire and an Ultralisk Cavern on the way from Zero, though. Lings, Banelings, Hydras. That is a horrible position for the Terran. That is a beautiful, or rather for the Zerg, that's a beautiful choke for the Terran. Got my races mixed up there. I don't see race. There you go. There's a scan. There's a tumor clearing if I ever saw one. Almost getting that Overlord, but deciding that the Vikings did not need to finish it off. However, I like the coverage, though. Zero's got a pretty good handle on where the Terran army is at all times. At this point, they have to go on creep or within range of Overlords to do pretty much anything. First nuke on the way. I love that Cameron's going for nukes at Midrank Madness. That makes me very happy indeed. All right, Marines, Marauders. Nice Fungal catching those guys. The Fungal, the Banelings getting target fired. Ugh! Fairly well, but decent hits there, too. Overseer does escape. Man, this has been just a huge example of Overseers and flying stuff escaping. Yeah, don't leave home without your tanks, dude. Cameron, you got to make more stuff. You're suddenly down 110 to 62 army. You're not making army. You have a 6,000, 2,000 bank. You're making 2 ghosts, which is fantastic, but you have more barracks than that. Make some marines here. Make some marauders. Start making more medevacs. Make additional tanks. Your production is falling off here, even as Zero is suddenly making 9 Ultralisks. I really wonder if Cameron left the Zerg player alone for too long on 4 bases. Allowed him to get some spellcasters up. Allowed him to have the bank to make 9 Ultralisks, which are going to do pretty darn well against this composition. The tanks are scary. From a Zerg player's perspective, yes, the tanks do not have any upgrades, which helps. I think if 9 Ultras roll in here with Ling and Banelink support, I think this army gets wiped out. It's great positioning, though, behind this debris so they can't get surrounded. Coming on up to clear out some creep. Again, this army has not been reinforced. He needs to be making more stuff in order to reinforce. I love that he's making Liberators, though. Liberators are the answer here to these these Ultras for sure. We fungled his own stuff a little bit. Here we go, walking into tank fire. 1 Ultra goes down, 2 Ultras go down, but too much Zerg here. The Hydra Ultra combo crushing through. Everybody dies except for this little group that some of them get picked up anyway and they get out of there. Vikings getting picked off, but Medevac will survive by getting onto the high ground temporarily in order to escape. But flying over creep, and these Hydras are bloodthirsty for these Medevacs. You're going to chase them down. You're going to get him. When's that boost available? Ooh, one's down. And there's the boost, and the rest of them do manage to escape. Okay, production is nothing but Ghosts and Liberators here from Cameron. He's not making any more Marines. He's done with those guys. No Marauders, no tanks. Ghost Liberator Nuke. Is he going for the Maru strategy? I know I said the name Maru earlier in the cast. I did not intend for the strategy to be as such. I'm kind of amazed. I didn't know the strategy would filter down into the lower levels, but after seeing the pros use it so effectively at WESG especially, it really makes sense that this stuff would filter down. That's a lot of Liberators. Ultras are not coming through there without dying. All of them. All of them are dying. That is so many Liberator circles, Defender mode circles. 8 of them. 8 of them are down. I love the Corruptor response here. Zero says, I see a ton of Liberators. Corruptors, not a bad answer here. Corruptor Broodlord, not bad in the situation, assuming your opponent can't get the Ghost into a position to steady target them down, which at the Midrank Madness level, I don't know you can really count on your opponent knowing how to do that well, or pulling it off. But Zero's working on, actually he has a 5th base down here in the bottom right, but man, Cameron's on 5 bases already fully saturated. Again, 86 workers. He honestly should probably expand again. He's oversaturated on every one of his bases right now, with the exception of his main, because there are no workers here. Nobody's working at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, we already had this one. This is the 5th. All right, so 5th bottom right. Coming on in with the Ghosts, the Liberators. Fungal catching some Liberators there, though, and the Corruptors chasing them down. It's a good combination. Fungal, Corruptor, Hydra to chase the Liberators out. Liberators need to set up the circles there. Defend, 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 defend. There's your defender mode, used in defensive mode, which a lot of times Liberators are used in an offensive capability, even though their main capability and the name of their ability is defender mode. Another base. I like that Zero is double expanding here. That's pretty fantastic. Zero has evened up the units, or the resources lost, 12,000 to 10,000. EMP on nothing there. I like that EMPs are coming out, but they got to be targeted a little bit better. That doesn't hit that Ultra. I am surprised this Ultralisk is not in this circle. His Tusks are certainly in there. I've seen units that are farther outside of the circle than that take shots. Oh man, it is steady targeting. And oh man, it is going to be nukes. I don't think they see this coming on in, taking Liberator shots. And that nuke is going to land. Oh, brutal. 21 kills. On that goes several drones go down. A Queen gets massacred there too. 198 to 174. Cameron is maxed out with this Ghost Liberator Marine Marauder Medevac composition. He is working on 3-3, which, man, Ghosts are more tanky than you expect with 3-3, turns out. This Ghost is there's nothing to nuke here, he says. Why would you send me over this way? Great question, man. Greater Spire just about done from Cameron. And Ling Bane, again, Liberators. Just the Liberators really are shooing the Zerg player away. The sensor towers are helping with this. Zero's not quite sure where he can go, where he can engage, or he's not going to be dealing with these circles of death. So far, he's done a pretty good job of not running mindlessly into it and dying, which is a good quality to have. Steady targeting on the Ultras. Taking one down at the very least, maybe two here, depending on that blood spatter. I'm not a blood spatter analyst. Analyst, that's the word. What's he in Dexter? There's a fancy word for it. I do love Dexter Season 1. Boy, did it go off the rails at the end, though. Zero's working on additional infestors. Happily sitting on his 6 bases now, fully saturating, well, almost fully saturating the gases. Wants that gas income. Zero's still at 180 supply. He's going to fill that apparently with Lings and infestors. Man, the steady targeting. Cloak. Ultra running. Oh, those Baneling hits were massive. What are upgrades on those? +2 attack on the Banelings. Great. +3 attack coming in next. Be there shortly. Those were some really decent hits, but if those were all the Banelings, might be in trouble. Are they just trying to take down... Wow, they took down an Ultra straight up with ghost attacks. Just regular ones, though. Nuke coming in while all this is happening. I like Cameron's multitasking capabilities. Is it just a planetary fortress here defending? Holy smokes. Where are all the Liberators? Where's your army? This nuke is gonna land. This Ghost up to 33 kills. MVP of the match. 33 kill Ghost. At least so far, Hyperflight Rotors. Cameron making a lot of stuff. Making additional Liberators, +3 air weapons. This Ghost manages to escape with his life. Even Zero comes over to say, hey, who did that? Who been killing my drones? Well, that's a great question. It's been Cameron. 46 drones have been killed. 17 SCVs have gone down. I think it's been stuff like attacks over this way, I guess. I don't know. I love the Emojin skin, though, for Terran. It's beautiful. It's bright blue. It's shiny. Really catches my eye. Basically a magpie that way. Hey, a Nidus. First Nidus on the way here from ZeroDashZero. That is a way to break a kind of a turtling Terran like this, is to Nidus him and it hits somewhere else. It just really discombobulates them, unless they're paying attention. Like this. The sensor towers make it really hard to get a Nidus down. Incredibly difficult to get a Nidus down. Alright. These Ghosts are going to take down Hatchery with their basic attack. Or not. Are they distracted? They're utterly distracted by the fact that there's a ton of Lings and Banelings and Hydras and Ultras heading over this way. Defender mode's set up in here, strangely enough. Is there anything defending this? Not really. It's just a planetary. Alright, so steady target on the Hydras is pretty good. Steady target on an Ultra, Hydras, Banelings, whatever. He's targeting Zerglings with some of this. Overseers with other stuff. The steady targeting blow is massive here. Liberators need to get in a better position and just full-on escape from that location. The Hydras chase them away. This has been a pretty darn good game of cat and mouse thus far, I would say. Nobody's really making a huge mistake. Has anybody lost a base yet? I don't think so. There's been some nukes. There have been a lot of lost workers, especially on Zero's side, but no one's lost a base. That's some pretty good defense and just map awareness from both of these players to head off attacks that might cause some problems elsewhere. Liberators setting up. The Hydras walking through the circles before they're set up, getting under the Liberators. Banelings on the Ghosts. More Defender Mode circles coming up, but dodging those ones too. Zero is dodging Defender Mode circles like a pro here. I don't think he sat any units inside those circles during that entire engagement. Killed a ton of Liberators. Now it's kind of flipped. Cameron's at 182 supply. Zero's at 199. I love the Ultralisk Cavern here. The mech one. It's so great. The tusks are moving. I mean, they're moving anyway. They just look better that way. Oh, this is a small army that's in a lot of trouble. Cameron! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Ah, the Ghosts! The Ghosts are all dead. The medevacs are getting crushed out of the sky here by these Corruptors. They have no attack upgrades. One attack upgrade. Additional command centers being produced by Cameron. Nope, not going to happen. And then Zero just pulls back. He's been so patient. Stupid amounts of patience here this game. He really has. 30,300 resources lost for Zero. 30,500 lost for Cameron. 36 more Lings in production from Zero. They are 3 Zerglings with adrenal glands. Adrenal glands? He doesn't have adrenal glands. Hey, Zero, if you're going to have 3 Zerglings at the 24-minute mark of a game, get adrenal glands. Makes them better. Even better than they already are. He knows. He probably just forgot. All right, man. Defender mode circles are here, kind of coming through it anyway. The Corruptors are picking off the Liberators. Everybody on the ground is dying to Ling, Baneling. Just hugely outnumbered is Cameron on the ground. All the Liberators die. How many Liberators have died in this game? I'm glad you asked. It is 21. 21 Liberators have died. 44 Ghosts have gone down. 79 Marines, 10 tanks. 187 Zerglings, 31 Hydras, 9 Ultras, and 9 Infestors have been killed. Landing right next to some Zerglings. Not the greatest command center landing place of all time. This base fully alive in the south, though. Cameron expanding pretty effectively here at the 25-minute mark. There's only one base that has not been taken in this game so far, which are honestly my favorite games, are the ones where all the bases are taken, right? Anywhere you can mine from gets mined from, and if at all possible, the map gets mined out. I really enjoy those for sure. I mean, that was Morrow versus Scarlet, right? If you want to see me cast that hour-and-a-half long game between Morrow and Scarlet with special co-caster Somicron, you have to be subscribed to me on Patreon. Patreon.com/Falcon Paladin for just $1 a month. That's all it takes, $1 a month. And you have access to that and other casts, other bonus casts I have done over the months and years while having that Patreon account. Check it out. All right, 8 Broodlords coming in for Zero. They take forever to morph, but they're pretty good when they're done. Long range, hit hard, slow, but the long range and the hit hard thing and the fact that you're in the air, that really makes up for it. Just like their Guardians that came before them in Brood War. Actually cast a game that had Guardians in Brood War the other day. Oh no! How is this not a planetary fortress, Cameron? You gotta upgrade your stuff to Planetary Fortress at the 25-minute mark. Alright, these Lings will run into their deaths. Some of them will. Shutting that base down quite effectively. Broodlords are here. The Ghosts are trying to get steady targets down, but they can't. There's too many Lings and Banelings and Broodlings. This looks like it's gonna be it for Cameron. Oh, the Baneling hits are insane. The Broodlords are effectively untouched and unchallenged. Corruptors are trying to win versus these Vikings, but they're outnumbered. They have other Corruptor friends here that are not helping with this battle. And actually, the Broodlords really need to A-move here, and they could maybe wipe this base out, but they seem to be concerned with other things at the moment. Like fleeing. No. Man, he's been so cautious this game. Unnecessarily so, I think. He got chased away by 3 Marauders and 2 Vikings when he had 7 Broodlords and 6 Corruptors. I think that's, you could have won that, Zero, but again, that's hindsight. It's being cautious. Better safe than sorry, I believe, is the mantra that Zero was adhering to in this game. Finally clearing out the Zergling infestation in the top left is Cameron. Upgrade this to a planetary now. You have the resources. Do it. There we go. There's the upgrade. Good job, Cameron. Good job by you, sir. Army supply 116 to 84 in favor of Zero. 195 to 156 overall in favor of Zero. 72 to 66 workers in favor of Cameron. So he's lost a ton of SCVs, hasn't he? 23 to 48 drones that have gone down. Massive saturation at the new base at the top left. He needs to send some down here. There's only 4 workers at the bottom right. Another nuke. The nukes have been extremely successful, especially considering Zero is just now saturating this base. Oh, the humanity. Oh, 23 kills instantly on that Ghost. 65 drones down. If you kill 65 drones in a game, you're doing pretty good. But Zero just has the bigger army supply. He's got the better composition. I think the Broodlords are effectively unopposed. There are not enough Vikings and Ghosts to handle this, and too many Banelings for the Ghosts to do much anyway. Hey, here. Corruptor, save the day. And everybody on creep. There's nowhere to run. Everybody dies. The Broodlords are there, and that is your good game, Cameron. Taps out in 29 minutes and 5 seconds. Zero wants to stick around a little bit. See if he can help take down this planetary fortress. This is racking up kills, by the way. 41 kills, but he's out too. ZeroDashZero is your winner in this ZVT. A little touch and go there for Zero for a bit. Struggling, losing a ton of drones, not really being able to punish the Terran for aggressively expanding. There was a moment there Cameron was up big time in army supply, worker supply, even on base count, and just couldn't get the damage done that he needed. Couldn't kill any bases, couldn't set up a really strong position in the middle of the map that Zero was not able to counter or push him off. And that was it. I mean, at that point, Zero was able to get additional bases up. He started making 9 Ultralisks at a time, and that was the beginning of the end for Cameron. So just good job staying alive. Sometimes that's all it takes. Your opponent may being a little bit more passive than they should be, especially as Zerg, to win it at these mid-levels. But, yeah, resources lost. It was even at one point, guys, and it's now 47,000 for Cameron and 40,000 for Zero. Those last 5 minutes heavily favoring the Zerg player. Only lost 1 Broodlord. Ended the game with a total of 7. So keeping those alive was really important. 63 ghosts died. That's a lot of Baneling attacks, a lot of Ling attacks. He was making the ghosts. He was making the liberators. But Zero's so patient, not attacking into positions that were well defended. And even pulling back from situations that he thought might be better defended than they really were. And as a result, he never really lost a total army there. There was that time up north where the steady targeting caught his dudes as they were coming around here. Maybe it was over here. I don't know. There was a place where ultras were trundling and they were ghosts and they were steady targeting, and that was rough stuff. That was a lot of dead stuff for the Zerg, but he had so many bases and never lost a base. Again, lost some drones, but never lost a base, and that's kind of the big deal. Is if you don't lose a base, your larva production is fine. You can replace those drones, especially if you're left alone. What hurts is when you lose a ton of drones and then you try to replace them with a big round of drones, and then the Terran pushes at that moment, and you're like, that should have been army, and then you die. But Cameron wasn't really able to get anything done except with the ghosts, which are great harassment, but that wasn't really game-winning type stuff. Maybe you needed more ghosts. Go full Morrow, dude. Just force Cameron back with nukes all over the place on every bit of edge of the creep until you win. Good stuff, though. Really, really fun game. Fantastic. And, well, you know what? That's going to be it for me. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead and hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch. All at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.
Before us, our honor guides us. Me with you, you with me. We are as one. Justice, our duty is unending. I feel your presence. We are as one. Sense of soul, a soul in search of the answers. May the gods watch over you. Kushala Adu. Ascension is before us. Our honor guides us. sense a soul. A soul in search of the answers. May the gods watch over you. Kushala Adu. Sense of soul. A soul in search of the answers. May the gods watch over you. Kushala Adu. I sense a soul. A soul in search of the answers. May the gods watch over you. Kushala Adu. Kalarulas. Karamulas. Aklaranus. Naslaran. Kinalatu. Casar di Templare. Daramarga. Oshara Sashi.